Kilo 2, Victor India.
Kilo 2, Victor India, and what's the name there?
2, Victor India, and what's the name there?
You got Tony over here. Tony, Tango Oscar, November Yankee, and we're in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Boy, Tony, you're loud. You're beautiful there. Sounds really good. If you would like, let's just verify a couple of things. What radio are you running there, Tony?
Let's just verify a couple of things. What radio are you running there, Tony?
Yeah, this is the Yaesu FTDX-3000, and I'm running power. Let me see exactly. Peak power right now is around 700 watts into an 80-meter loop fed with ladder line coming down to a 1-to-1 balun, and the loop is up at 70 feet. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, Tony, if you'd be interested in our setup procedure, it starts with you double-checking to be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode, 100 to 2900. If you're not familiar with it, just take a note on that and, check it out at your leisure. Roger?
Note on that and, check it out at your leisure. Roger?
Yeah, I think I'm around 29. Not, give or take.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Double check. We recommend 100 to 2900. It is a nice performance level for your radio. If you go past 2900, you have people that come looking for you with pitchforks. So you want to try not to go past 2900. That gives you a little buffer there, keeps you from being too wide. Roger.
900. That gives you a little buffer there, keeps you from being too wide. Roger.
Okay, so you say I'm wide.
No. I'm just saying that we have found that the best setup on your transmitter is 100 to 2900, and that's what we recommend that everybody run, 100 to 2900. I mean, it's just a suggestion. You're welcome to do whatever you need to do, but we found that we can get a nice bright signal on 100 to 2900,
A nice bright signal on 100 to 2900,
Okay. Well, hold on for a second. Okay, well, let's see.
Yeah, Tony, are you running a Vox?
Is that any better? That's 2600.
Yeah, Tony, are you running a Vox?
No Vox. But I got it. This is 2600 right now, so it's 200 and 2800 at the top.
All right, we want 100 to 2900. Follow my lips. 100 to 2900 if you have it.
Follow my lips. 100 to 2900 if you have it.
Well, I'm 100 to 2900. I'm going to be wide. Okay. Right now I'm at 200 to 2800. So my bandwidth is 2600. And you said 100 to 2900 or less. So we did a little less. You want to be specific? I mean, you want 2900? I can give you 100 to 2900. I give you whatever you want. But I don't understand what you're getting at here.
Yes, sir. I'm just suggesting that we suggest that folks operate in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. That's considered by Yaesu and them folks as, quote, wide, end quote, 100 to 2900. And that's the highest they have as far as a calibration point. And I agree that, that's a good place to be, 100 to 2900. When you exceed 2900, then you have the possibility of starting to generate little love beads out beyond where you should be or would be nice to be at less than 3K. So we just suggest that folks run 100 to 2900. But obviously you're sail your ship, and you should do whatever you want. But our suggestion is 100 to 2900, just a small matter. And we do that, suggest that at the beginning of our setup because, it will affect your top end. When you start rolling off from 2900 to those lesser frequencies, you're really chopping off your top. And the top is where all your articulation for your words are. So we want to keep that as best we can, and we found that 100 to 2900 does that. Okay, so once past all of that stuff, our setup procedure is compression on at a 3. Compressor on at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us achieve our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of our setup. So it's compression on at a 3. Roger?
At the end of our setup, so it's compression on at a 3. Roger?
Okay, well, right now, running no compression, and I'm 200 to 2800, okay? So, understand, I'm at 200 to 2800, that's 2600. Is that unacceptable? Because I'm running at 2600 or 2.6K wide right now. You're saying you want me to go wider than I am right now? Because I can, but I am running a little bit narrower bandpass now. So you're saying to widen it up to 100 to 2900, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, 2.8.
To 2.9, 2900. 100 to 2900. It's called wide mode in most new receivers. Of course you can get wider, but that's not, I don't think, a good idea. So we recommend 100 to 2900. But you can do whatever you need. But the thing is, we can brighten you up through EQ. You do need a little more top in there, Tony. So, but I would like to hear you in that 100 to 2900 mode before we start cranking EQ to try to make up deficiencies that you're dialing back by not going to 2900.
Deficiencies that you're dialing back by not going to 2900.
Okay. All right, I'll do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, right? Okay, hold on. Okay. And there you go. 100 to 2900, and I'm not running any compression. Now, we could put the compression on with a flick of a switch, and now the compression's on.
Roger, Tony, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Or 30 out of 100, depending on how your input to the compressor is labeled. 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100.
Input to the compressor is labeled. 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100.
Yeah, I'm running about 5 dB of compression right now.
I don't think this guy wants help.
Well, we're getting there. He's running about 5 dB, which is considered light, and that's exactly what we're saying there. We only want about a third of the compression capabilities, just a third. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. And I think that's where you are, Tony. So now, why don't you tell me about your antenna system in 30 seconds, and let me listen to you.
Why don't you tell me about your antenna system in 30 seconds, and let me listen to you.
Okay, well, it's an 80-meter delta loop, okay? It's perfect horizontal. It's up at 70 feet. Feed point is in one of the corners of the delta, and running about 105 feet. I believe it's about 105 feet of 450 of ladder line, coming right out here to the windowsill, which is right here, to a 1-to-1 Ballon design Ballon, and then a 3-foot piece of coax right to an ATR-30 Ameritron antenna tuner, and then feeding a Ameritron ALS 1300, and of course the radio's an FTDX-3000. So that's the situation here. The audio equipment is an RE27, and it's going into an EQ Plus by W2IHY.
Okay, external EQ only. You're going in high level. Is that a Roger?
External EQ only. You're going in high level. Is that a Roger?
Well, no, I also have the EQ in the radio, EQ'd specifically to kind of mimic the EQ Plus and the 8-band EQ. So it's all, EQ'd in the same properties from 50 hertz all the way up to 3200 hertz.
Roger, Roger. Now, do you run both of them simultaneously in stereo, or how do you do that? Or what do you do?
Simultaneously in stereo, or how do you do that? Or what do you do?
Yeah, they're both. Yeah, the EQ is actuated in the radio, the internal EQ in the radio, and the EQ. So it's all actuated. Everything is all in. The only thing I lack with audio, I believe, is my voice, and that we can't make a modification on that.
Oh, well, that's what an equalizer's all about, Tony. I mean, come on now, think about it. You know, you have pluses and minuses, and you know, if you're light, you can be heavy, or you can be anybody through EQ. I mean, that's Pandora's box. We do, recommend though that everything between 400 cycles and 1.6K be flat, because even a cheap microphone is somewhat flat with the mid-range. It's where you get to the bottom end and the top end that usually the difference is between microphones. So we recommend that the equalizer be flat between 400 cycles and 1.5K. And when you do that, then you have a nice linear mid-range, and depending on the equalizer that you have, the nice top end is if you have an adjustable parametric EQ, it's 2.7K with the 4 is that nice top end, nice silk top end, and the other push point is 200 cycles on the bottom end. Roger.
Push point is 200 cycles on the bottom end. Roger.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly the way I have it running. 400 is flat, 800 is flat, 1600 is flat, 2400 starts peaking to about 4 dB, and then 3200 at about 8 dB. On the other side of that, 200 is about 4 dB, 100 is about 6 dB, and 50 is it's like a smile, And then the EQ Plus, bass and treble are slightly advanced from 12 o'clock.
Yes, sir, Tony. I just flipped over to my local antenna, and I've got you just a little bit on my local antenna, and you do look fairly nice there, EQ curve-wise. So you could use just a little more top. The thing is, that 27, you don't have a 27, but maybe that you got a 32, maybe a couple of clicks hotter on 32, Roger?
You got a 32, maybe a couple of clicks hotter on 32, Roger?
You think that I'm a little bit too heavy on the bottom?
No.
So advance the 32 a little bit and push up the 24 just a smidge.
Yeah, Tony, I didn't say anything about the bottom, but your bottom is very nice where it was. Don't second guess me now, I mean, I was talking about the top end. Your bottom is nice. I'm looking at it on a spectrum analyzer. I can see exactly where it is, and it really looks nice. When I'm on my local antenna, my receiver's down to 100 cycles. These SDRs are rolling out at 250 somewhere in there, and they don't really have a correct flat bottom end, but my stuff is down to 100 cycles, and you look good down there. It's just you're a little noisy, so I have to come back to Milford to copy you well. So your bottom end was just fine where it was. I was thinking just a little more top end in the syllabic range for articulation at 3200 plus 2 from where you were.
Syllabic range for articulation at 3200 plus 2 from where you were.
I gotcha. I pushed it up a little bit, not too much, just the way you advised, just for experimental, it's fun to try different things. I like to experiment with antennas a little more than audio, but anyway, I did that. This should be a little bit more where you like it. I just brought up the high end just a little bit at 3200, and I don't know, what do you think?
Sounds good to me. I think it's just perfect. you're really good. And if you want to hear your audio, Tony, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-V air check recordings. So YouTube search KC9VKV logbook, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
VKV logbook, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
I gotta wait that long? Okay, I will check that out. I've written that down. KC9 Victor Kilo Victor, and I'll go to logbook. I'll check that out. That sounds good. I appreciate you making a recording and helping me out with the audio. But there's always room for improvement, that's for sure. So it was a slight adjustment, but obviously the other gentleman said it sounds good here, and then you're saying that it sounds good, so I was lacking a little top end. Didn't know that. That's good. I appreciate your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Roger, Tony. Well, the thing is, life is always a compromise in radio. There's all kinds of things lurking out there to degrade your signal. Some kind of static here, static there, QRM here, there, phase angle distortions, and those things, particularly phase angles, tend to wipe the top end off of your transmission, your audio. If you get bounce back a little bit time delayed, coming back to the same place and both the signals hit, but one part of the signal is 180 degrees out from the other, it starts to cancel, and it starts to cancel from the top and works its way down to the bottom. So what happens if you are, if you're kind of a minimum top end, when you lose that top end, then it's really bass, and you're hard to understand because part of your signal is being decimated by phase angle distortion. So that's why I recommend a brighter signal. Roger.
So that's why I recommend a brighter signal. Roger.
Yeah, well, there's nothing better than a brighter signal, especially when you're talking DX and you're 5.5 or 5.6. I've heard guys that are 5.5, 5.6, and they're not adjusting the audio right, and they're hard to discern, and it's hard to pick out their call sign. But then there's another guy that's 5.5, 5.6 that has exactly what you need to get through, and that's compression, and that's upper end clarity. And I hear them perfectly. So it makes a lot of sense. And it's great advice. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We'll leave it like that then. There's always room for improvement. And right now, I'm looking to do an antenna experiment, put up another antenna for 40 and 20, and I'm bouncing back and forth for what I want to do. So I don't know if you guys are into antennas, but really the crux of getting out and really putting out a good signal, audio is very important, but I think what's as important, if not more important, is your antenna system. Go ahead.
Oh, that's a Roger. And, the thing about antennas is to have options. One antenna is no option. You're there, and you don't have an option. And when Mother Nature decides to move it to another plane, phasing plane of horizontal versus vertical, you're shot. So the thing is, the more options you have on your antenna system, the better off you are. So we suggest, running maybe a dipole antenna and a vertical, or running a dipole antenna left and right, north and south, and the other one east and west, which gives you a difference of opinion. And with a multi-switch, you can switch through those and find out what's hot at the moment. Because the thing is, signals seldom stay the same. They're constantly flexing vertical to horizontal many times. And when a signal fades to you, sometimes it's not really fading, it's just changing from horizontal to vertical. And if you don't have the capability of sampling it vertically, then it just sounds like it faded out, but it just changed to horizontal. So options are always the name of the game on your antennas. Roger?
So options are always the name of the game on your antennas. Roger?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more on that. That's for sure. And I do have options here. I have a, okay, so off to the side of the house here, I got a 05 ground plane. It's not a ground-mounted vertical, it's a ground plane. So it's 10 feet off the ground with 6 11-foot ground radius. It was a 43-footer, but I didn't, oh, by the way, I had a ground-mounted vertical before that with 80 ground radius. So I tied the 80 ground radials in from the DX Engineering radio plate to the 80 ground radius. So I'm running the 80 ground radials plus the 6 above ground plane radials to a 31.5-foot radiator, which is a great 40-meter antenna. I could go on it if you'd like. I don't think I'm gonna. My signal might go down because, as we all know, that antenna is basically set up for long-haul, low-angle stuff, and that's what I basically use it for. And then this antenna is my go-to antenna because this thing can tune on 80, 40, and 20 like no other antenna I ever owned. Up at 70 feet, and it's very, very tunable. Impedances, resistance, everything is perfect with the tuner. It tunes very easily. And I also have a 80-meter doublet fed with ladder line up at 62 feet, sloping down to 35 feet. But that is going broadside north and south, so I take care of that. This loop, I don't know which way it's radiating, or if anything. I don't know if a loop is actually bidirectional. Not sure at this height. And then my last antenna is a 20-meter monoband beam up at right around 40 feet, and it's a high-gain 203 3-element beam. So got 20 covered. I'm still working on 40. And I was thinking, I have 2 trees that are 120 feet in height. I was thinking of shooting that gun over, the potato gun, over those trees and getting a 84-foot in length doublet, which will be a double extended ZEP on 20, and also, I hope, quite tunable on 40 at about 110, 120 feet. And it is going to be broadside northeast, southwest, which is where you want it. So I'm thinking hard about building one and getting it up there. I don't know. What's your input?
Well, I think you should do what you can do to give yourself more options and get yourself in wild anticipation, get yourself an 8-position rotary selector on a, with coax fittings on it. And, then you've got room for expansion, and there's nothing better than to have options. Now, a lot of mine are not, options that, I have the capability of listening as I'm transmitting. So you have to be very careful on your antennas that you have a mute switch when you transmit, that you mute your other antennas so you don't bring RF back into the shack and do smoke tests. Roger?
Back into the shack and do smoke tests. Roger?
Oh, yeah, that's already taken care of. Everything is grounded, and I don't seem to have any RF here. With the exception of one antenna I didn't mention, and that's a rotatable Mosley TA31, which is a driven element of a TA33, up at 50 feet, and that's 10, 15, and 20. So that's a pretty decent antenna. I use it only for 10 and 15. But, one thing I'm concerned with is the alpha-delta antenna switch. Hopefully I'm getting good isolation from that switch. Seems to be one of the better switches, so that's important. You don't want to be transmitting off of 2 antennas, 90% off of one, 10% off of another. I don't think that's going to be for good transmission. So technical, so much to learn. Even though I've been a ham since 91, you never know it all, that's for sure. The name here, by the way, is Tony. I didn't get your name.
Roger, Tony, name here is Jim, Juliet, India, Mike. And, the thing is that you might consider that switch is you're usually only switching the high side of the antennas. So all your ground elements, if you're running unbalanced, or they're all come into play as far as the radiation pattern, because that switch is just switching the high side of the antenna. The ground side are common to all of all the inputs to that switch. But just food for thought. Tony, we got to jump out of here, buddy. Let me say 73 till you get to talk at you. And again, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger, Roger.
That will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, Jim, I am definitely going to do that. I'd like to hear myself, because you're strong. By the way, you didn't ask for a signal report. But you're 10 to 15 over S9 here, and I think you're in 9 land. I didn't get your QTH. My QTH is Virginia Beach. Nice day here, 70 degrees, 69 actually, and it's nice. It's a nice day. Got a little warm, slightly humid. And tomorrow's going to be 80. So, but Jim, I will log in tomorrow afternoon and listen to that, and I appreciate that. That's really cool that you could have the capability to do that and have somebody listen to it so I could really hear the fidelity. Anyway, yeah, 73s, man. Nice talking to you, and thanks for your help with the adjustment of the audio, and I'm sure that did help, and I'm going to leave it just like this, Jim. So, KC9VKV in the group. I know there's a lot of guys out there, and I apologize for taking over here. There's a lot of guys out there, and I apologize for taking over here. But you guys, you take care. I'll be listening. I'll be here. And 73 is Jim, KC9VKV, K2VI.
Roger, Roger, Tony, and we also have a spectrum analyzer tied to our audio, and it's showing, the receive audio, shows your audio, and at that last transmission, I went over to my local antenna, which was a little noisier than the SDR, but it's a lot truer as far as low frequency response, and so you can see on the spectrum analyzer your bottom end there, your whole signal there when I was on local antenna. And there's a display where the input source indicator that will tell you where I am as far as which SDR I'm on or what radio I'm on or whatever. That when I switch things, it lights up and tells you all that, so you can see that. So 73, Tony, and we'll catch you later, sir. This is the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.